Okay, now let's talk about the measurement levels. Usually there are four types of levels. After we operationalize a variable and we know how to measure a variable, when we see the measurement, we need to pay attention to their levels because this will influence what kind of statistics we can use to do the analysis. However, before we go to these four types of labels, we need to pay attention to this word, scale of measurement. Sometimes we may use labels, but sometimes you may see this word, scales of measurement. They are talking about the same thing. However, if you see scales here, that means the labels. Here you need to be careful about this word, scales. In this situation, here the scale means labels. However, sometimes when we use this word, that may means here a major. Why do I say this? You can see here, this scale is a 20-item questionnaire consisting of items like. Okay, so in this situation, the scale refers to a major, and this major consists of 20 items. For this situation, so here scale is a major, and we want to see its validity and the reliability. So don't be confused with the scales of measurement here. It's different. Okay, and then the first type of measurement label is nominal. In other words, for nominal is category. Examples are nationality or sex. For example, if we use the code 1 to represent or to refer to males, and 2 refers to females, and 1 and 2 just two categories. In a numerical sense, they doesn't mean 2 is larger than 1. There's no such kind of meaning. So 1 and 2 just represents categories. Okay, so we can see here the numbers or the codings have no real meaning other than differentiating between objects. In other words, just try to have two categories. And the value itself doesn't represent a greater degree of the property than any other value. So they are just different. Then the second type of measurement label is ordinal. Ordinal variables allow for differentiation. There's
for differentiation and ordering of values.
And there's an ordering or sequence. So the ordinal label has meaningful in order. So for example, that I think in the educational background is an obvious ordinal variable. If we assign the number 1 to the elementary school, 2 for the middle school, 3 also for the senior high school, and 4 for the colleges. And then the sequence or the order is meaningful because middle school it has more is higher, more years of education. Senior high school, college have higher years of education. However, the difference between 1 and 2 or 4 and 3 are not equal, because for elementary schools, usually in Taiwan we have 6 years. However, for middle and senior high school, we just have 3 years. For college, usually in average we have 4 years. So the difference between the numbers does not have the meaning. How about if the differences on scores can be compared? For this situation, then we go to the third type of measurement label called interval. So for interval measurement label, we can interpret differences between values. For the interval variable, temperature is an example. So the difference between 78 degrees and 79 degrees is the same as 45 and 46 degrees. However, for the interval variable, they cannot do a ratio. For example, in the temperature, we cannot say the water at 80 degrees Fahrenheit is twice as hot as water at 40 degrees, because there's no absolute zero here. So if the measurement label has an absolute zero, then that's a ratio variable or ratio measurement. So here ratios are meaningful, and there's a true 0 point. For example, the height, the weight. We can see that someone they have a weight twice here. 10 pounds is twice as much as 5. Ratios are meaningful. That's because here there's a true 0 point. 0 pounds means no weight or an absence of weight. Okay, in short, nominal means categories. Ordinal, that means sequence is meaningful. Interval, the differences between values are meaningful. And finally, the ratio. We can do a ratio. Ratios are meaningful because here there's a true 0 point.